Hello, everyone. So today is part two of the look at the Ultimetals S series, Rodimus Prime. Sorry this one took a little bit longer to come out than normal. It's been a busy week, so I'm finally getting around to actually reviewing this guy. So we're gonna go a little bit through the articulation, some of the pros and cons that I have with this guy, and get into final thoughts. So let's get into it. Okay, so first things first, let's take a look at this guy's height. So from head to toe, let's see what he looks like here. He's roughly at about, I would say, 11 and a half from head to toe. And then with the spoilers, he's probably right under 12 inches. So as you can see, he's a pretty big guy. And I've always actually liked this design of Hot Rod. This seems like it's based off of the Studio Ox version, which, if you know the Japanese Transformer stuff, you will be familiar with. If I can find the original picture um, of one of the photos of Rodimus that I liked, he's a little bit different from the American version. He actually has more of the color scheme of Rodimus Prime versus Hot Rod. Hot Rod always had like a really, I forget what they call the color. It's more like a reddish purple. And so this is a very interesting one. And for the Studio Ox stuff, I never actually saw a version of Hot Rod. So this is interesting because right now, of course, he's in his Hot Rod form. So what we're going to do is we are going to go through articulation real quick. Okay, so of course, now with the head, he can look 360. So that's pretty dope. All right, you can tilt up, down, side to side. All right, so he looks pretty good. He's got a swivel at the right above the elbow there. So he's got that on both sides, there and there. So he can actually go all the way up. Arm does go 360 if I want to move a spoiler out of the way, but he can actually do that. So pretty articulate there. For his hands, these are all separately jointed that way. So he's got articulated fingers, right, left and right, and the thumb as well. So here and here, boom. All right. So he's got decent here. Now, the thing with him, whoop, that just popped out. That's actually for the Rodimus form. I actually didn't mean to do that. But anyway, he's actually very, very top heavy. And compared to this, that does actually have some decent leg articulation as well. Okay. He's got some toe articulation. All right. Nothing for the back heel, but he can go left and right that way. So he's got that. And he can do the same with this one. Now, like that. Okay. So he's got that. And then let's take a look at the. I can't do the splits, but he can get pretty far. So he's got that. He's got individual sides here. So that's really pretty much it for articulation. You can kind of get it a little bit higher once you move the side skirts out of the way. All right. But I did actually have a problem with this guy. And what it was is that I guess I'm used to metal build Gundams. And metal build Gundams they're pretty tight as far as their joints are concerned. And I found that a lot of his joints are not, as far as the metal parts on him, are not very tight. So whether it was in his kind of like the looseness in his knees, sometimes he would just fall over. And like I said, he is very top heavy compared to the bottom feet and stuff. But it's not too big of a deal. That could just be my specific piece. But that's pretty much it. So that's all right for articulation. And then we'll go into some of his accessories. Okay, now let's get into his accessories. Now, for this piece, he actually doesn't have a ton of accessories. So this is here is the rear spoiler for the Rodimus transformation, right? So you've got that. It's got two clips on the back, and I'll show you that when I go through the transformation. This, of course, is the Rodimus head. Okay. So pretty nice. Okay. And then you got his gun. So this is the photon laser. All right, that's the photon laser there. So this is a pretty nice size. It's not super heavy, but and then you've got the second piece to where when he transforms into Rodimus, this becomes the photon eliminator. So that's his large like rifle. So you got that. You've got the two arm pieces here and here for his Rodimus, parts for Rodimus Prime. And then you've got the Matrix of Leadership. This is the big one. The small one is actually in him. I'm not going to take him out, but you'll see it when I do his transformation with this guy. Now, the problem that I have with this Matrix is it does not come with a battery. That is a issue for me, just simply because the piece is already $300. You're telling me you can't throw in like a $4 battery or $3 battery? I don't know. That just seems kind of weird to me. But it does take batteries, and it does not light up out of the box. So you will need to get a battery for that. So that's unfortunate for that. So, okay. So that's pretty much all for his accessories. And we will actually start getting into the transformation, and we'll get into that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you through the transformation process into Rodimus Prime. This one is really simple. It's not like an actual, like a masterpiece transformer or anything like that. Pretty much you're just taking pieces off and putting bigger pieces or different pieces on. So it's pretty simple. So as you saw earlier in the video, when I actually was touching the midsection, that his arms popped out. That's part of the transformation. And I'll go through that first. So what it is you have to take this and lift up this side here. That's actually the small matrix of leadership there. And then what you do is you actually push that in, and his arms will pop out. Because I had actually put pressure there, and that's why his arms popped out. And that's for the transformation there. All right. So you put that in, and then you can put that back down like that. Okay. And then for the spoiler here, okay, this actually is pretty simple. It's just a snap-on, right? And that's that part there. So for Hot Rod, it goes on the top. For Rodimus, it goes on the bottom because the Rodimus one is bigger, right? So we will take this and snap that on there. Bam. All right. All right. I'm still kind of getting used to trying to do this kind of stuff on camera. It can be kind of a problem. So, but okay. Now, what you want to do here is you're going to want to loosen this side piece here, right? And you're going to snap this part off. This just slides off like that. And we'll put the other part back on like that. Snap that in, boom. Okay. So you can kind of see the difference between the two. So the one like this is the Hot Rod one, this is the Rodimus one. And the wheels do not move, by the way. Okay. So you're going to do that. I'm going to do the same thing. And you don't really have to put too much pressure on it, but that just slides off just like that. And this one goes on just like that. Okay. So, but actually, in order to take it off and leave the ball joint in there, which I didn't do the first time, is you actually push the two like parts that looks like his ears here and here, push that in, and then that part stays in. So you got that, and then you do the same thing for the Rodimus head. Bam. All right. For the legs, right? Okay. So you've got this part here. So what you're going to do is open this part. If I can get my nail in there. Okay. So you got this part, kind of pull that part up, right, till it locks like that. And boom. So that's just like that. Okay. Same with the other leg. So that goes in. Boom. All right. Sorry, that's a little out of focus. But that's the second one. And you've got two slots here and here. So it just goes in that second slot. And it should, boom, rest just like that. Okay. So now, he's quite a bit taller, actually. And let's take a look. Let me get out my measuring tape. Okay, so this is Rodimus, fully transformed. So let's take a look at his height and see how tall he is now, because he's actually considerably taller. So now, remember before he was at about 11 and a half. Now, from head to toe, I would say he's solidly 12 inches. And then with his spoiler, I would say 13 and a half, maybe about 13 and a half, between 13 and a fourth and 13 and a half, somewhere around there. So he's considerably bigger, right? So definitely taller. And we've got that part. And then we'll do the last part with his gun. So to do the make the photon eliminator, you got the two pieces here. So this is the front piece. This is the back piece. Okay. And then what you're going to do, you're going to take this, move this back. Okay. And then you're going to take this part, move that up. Take that and slide that in there. And it should snap in there. All right, just like that. Boom. And then you would take that, move that back up. And that is his photon eliminator. So that is his rifle. All right. And he's got two slots on the rifle here and here. So you can put that in both sides of the hands. The hands have slots in there as well. And so we'll try to do that as well. So let's see. This finger's all looking all decrepit and stuff. All right. So that should go in here. I can actually see. All right, and that just goes in there. If I can get that to, boom. All right, there we go. And then move his fingers. Make sure I got this one finger out. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, there we go. I just need to bend that joint in there. There we go. Just like that. And I can get his. Yeah, it's kind of rough doing this on camera, but there we go. And then take the thumb and move that up like that. Okay. And then that's him with his photon eliminator. Now, I did have an issue with him earlier, and what it was is he actually could not hold this and keep it up by itself. You see how that kind of falls down? Because he does have a ratchet in his elbow, but to me that ratchet is just not tight. It's super loose. So that's kind of disappointing, I think, because the gun really isn't that heavy. So he actually should be able to hold it, but he can't. So what you have to do is you kind of have to do this part and then lay the hand up under it. And to me, that's kind of, that's for a figure that's, $300+ he should be able to do that. I mean, and really it's just about, it's not even like the metal itself. It's just, just have those joints or ratchets or whatever just a tad bit tighter. So I can actually get him actually in there. Boom. So he would kind of hold it just like that. I can get him to stand properly. Right. So that's pretty much how he has to hold the photon eliminator. And that is disappointing. He should have enough strength in those ratchets in order to hold this gun, because this gun really is not that heavy. Not that heavy at all. So that's kind of one of my cons. Now, what we are going to do is actually take a look at the back, right? So for his rear spoiler, all right, you would open these up like that. Okay. And then these actually do flex and go all the way back. So they can go all the way back, so you can move that arm all the way 360. The hot run ones, to my knowledge, do not actually fold back that much. They do have some give, but they're not going to fold all the way back like those. All right, like the Rodimus Prime one will. So that's how you have that set up. And okay, so that pretty much is the transformation for Rodimus. Quite simple. He's more, I don't want to say he's like a statue piece, but he kind of is. He doesn't, you just are taking hot rod parts off and then putting some Rodimus parts on. I do like the rear spoiler probably the most. I think that, and then like this new flame that he has, and that's kind of unique with the Studio Ox version of Rodimus. I think it's pretty cool. So that's pretty much it. And then, like I said, if I actually had lights in these, or a battery in here, you would just put the battery in here, and you can have the matrix leadership. You can have the light, light our darkest hour scene if you like. So, but yeah, this is a good set. So now we'll get into final thoughts. All right, so final thoughts with this guy. I do like it a lot. If you like the Studio Ox version of Rodimus / Hot Rod, this is definitely probably the one to pick up. Out of 10 stars, I'm going to give him a 7. He's not perfect, but he does have some pros and cons. The pros are he's really, really tall. If you like the design of the Studio Ox, he is a solid figure. Even if he falls, I don't see him bursting into a million pieces. The fact that he comes with a stand, all of that is well and good. The cons are, I think that his joints, especially in the knees and elbows, are a little loose. They're not loose to where they can't hold anything, but as you saw in the video, he can't hold his own rifle with one hand. I think that is problematic, because usually, especially as you keep these figures long term, they do tend to loosen up even more. And the fact that he can't hold it now, fresh out of the box, is an issue. So I would give him a 7 out of 10. I do love Transformers, and Hot Rod specifically. I'm not as big of a Rodimus fan, but I do like Hot Rod. I'm more in line with the Japanese version of Transformers. So Master Force, Victory, 2010, Zone, all of that stuff, Beast Wars 2, Neo, all that stuff. I more align myself with the Japanese versions of Transformers just because I think they're unique. I grew up with the American ones just like everybody else did in the United States. But just the fact that the Japanese ones are a little bit different as far as storylines and things of that nature, that's why I actually align myself more with the Japanese side of Transformers. So for me, as a Japanese Transformers fan, this is a quintessential piece. I know that there's a Untimetal Galvatron that has come out. I actually don't plan on getting him, but I think for the Studio Ox versions of Rodimus, this is definitely probably the most quintessential piece to pick up. He also doesn't transform. I know, like, especially for it being a transformer, I know a lot of people want it to be actually be a transformable figure. I'm indifferent to that kind of stuff. To me, I just kind of want whatever I saw in the design or in the anime to be represented nicely, and I think that is for the Studio Aux version of Rodimus. I think this will do quite well. So if you like that design, pick it up. So thank you for watching. I know that this review is a tad bit late, but I appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you guys next time.